Question I get often is, what should I study in France? And I would say it depends on what you want to do. But if you want a more specific answer, today we're going to be talking about the France 2030 strategy. If you've never heard of it, this video is going to be useful to you. And if you have heard of it already, I'm going to be breaking it down into actionable information that you can work with. So what is France 2030? France 2030 is an investment plan by the French government. It was announced by President Macron in 2021 that France will be investing 54 billion euros. And what are they investing in exactly? So this strategy identifies the sectors that France is betting its future on, and then it invests the money into training, into research, into companies, and into universities that are concentrating on those sectors. You might ask, how does this matter to a student coming to study in France? It matters because this is where the jobs are after studies. This is where sponsored research comes in. This is where trainings comes in, and this is most likely the areas where you're most likely to get a talent visa after your studies. So the France 2030 strategy is just France telling you what it wants, and if you listen, you find yourself in a sector where you're most likely to find scholarships, funding, and a job at the end of the day. So let me walk through them one by one in a way that is, easy to understand. I'll go through them one by one, the different sectors. Number one is nuclear energy and clean energy. France is building new nuclear stations, and they are also recruiting heavily international talent for this. So if you're going in the direction of being a physicist or a nuclear engineer or energy engineer, you're really wanted over here. Le Commissariat à l'énergie atomique is recruiting internationally, looking for talent to work. Number two is green hydrogen and energy transition. 9 billion euros is committed to green hydrogen specifically. So all in demand, chemists, chemical engineers, energy engineers, and environmental sciences are all in demand right now. Number three, electric vehicles and electric batteries. So France is building gigantic factories in the north of the country, and it's going to require electrical engineers, scientists, and battery engineers. Number four, aeronautics and space. The headquarters of aeronautics and space in France is in Toulouse. Airbus is in Toulouse as well. Ariane Group is in Toulouse. Safran is in Toulouse. That is like the hub of everything aerospace. So really money is going that way. There will be a huge recruitment. So if you're coming to study, I highly suggest you look into this. So France 2030 has committed over €1 billion to decarbonizing aeronautics by the year 2031. Oh, I meant 2035. It's not 2031. So let me say this plainly. Aerospace engineering is the fastest route to a talent visa in France. Like if you're coming in for a master, you already have a background in sciences, come in for aerospace engineering, and your talent visa is short because, they're recruiting heavily. France needs these kind of engineers. So if you're an aerospace engineer or a mechanical engineer, Toulouse is your space when you come into France. It's a space you need to be in. Number five, biotech, health, and medical research. What this means is 7.5 billion euros to health innovation. INSERM, the Institut Pasteur, pharmaceutical clusters around Lyon and Paris, they need biologists, chemists, medical researchers, data sciences and life sciences. And, the sector is booming. Like if you're coming in for studies, I'm just saying. Take note of this. Number six, of course, artificial intelligence and digital technology. France has a stated ambition to be the number one AI power in Europe. So we're talking about computer science, data science, machine learning, cybersecurity, software engineering. This one speaks for itself. So France has a plan to be the number one European leader in AI technology and digital technology. So that's giving you ideas. Number seven is robotics and automation. Manufacturing is being transformed. Mechanical and software engineers working on automation are in demand across the French industry. And number eight is agriculture and food technology. France is a major agricultural power, and it's investing heavily in sustainable farming, and food innovation technology. Not the most obvious choice, but it's a real one. It's a real one. We all need food. So we're really working on having that independence in France, food independence. Number nine, space and deep sea. 2 billion euros committed to space. France wants to be in the new space race. Reusable launchers, satellites, exploration. If this is your field, France is actively building it. Number 10, not the least, but is creative industries and cultural technology. Less obvious, but it's also in the plan. So we don't need to cut the creative industries completely out. Immersive experiences, digital heritage, cultural technology. France wants to lead in cultural content the same way it leads in fashion. Makes sense. Now, the area that we don't want to miss is I'm talking about all these sectors because when you're coming to France, come with a strategy and come to study something that really makes a difference. The idea is, you might decide to stay back if you get a job, or you might decide to go back to your home country. But the idea is that coming with this kind of degree and getting the degree here in France, it opens the pathway for you obtaining a talent visa, a talent passport visa. And what this does is that if you have a spouse, your spouse can come on that same visa and can work, doesn't need further authorization before they can work. Your whole family can come with you. If you're coming for a master program, you finish your master program, you can get on the talent visa, and then your family can come in. Your spouse can work, your children come to school here. If you intend to maybe build a life here or you find a good job. Yeah. And since we already know from my previous videos that what qualifies you for the talent visa is your level of salary, it also is determined by the sector you study, and is also your degree level. And all these programs that I mentioned in the France 2030 strategy, all of them fall into that group. So there's hardly a reason, if you study any of these programs, you definitely fall into the category of those who be paid higher salaries and who are actively being recruited. And then, of course, it opens the path to a talent visa quite easily for you. In summary, having a program that's in the France 2030 strategy positions you strongly for a talent visa. It puts you in the right position for that, as opposed to someone that's just studying a program that has nothing to do with the France 2030 strategy. The France will not reject you outright. It's just that those who studied in this area will find it so much easier to move into a job and, to settle in with their family if that's what they want to do. Also, the France 2030 has more companies hiring internationally, and research contracts available, and more employers are willing to sponsor a talent application. Now, to be practical, France 2013 has funded dedicated scholarship programs. You find them everywhere. You find them in Nigeria, you find them anywhere there's a Campus France. So if you pay attention, you'll be able to get on that train and you understand quickly what you need to do. The FL Excellence Scholarship Program from Campus France targets masters and PhDs students in fields including engineering, exact sciences, life sciences, law, economics, and management. It's not exclusively France 2030, but the overlap with priority fields is significant. The Choose France for Science initiative, launched by the French government specifically to attract international researchers, is directly downstream of the France 2013 investment. And many of the grand écoles, that's top universities, have created specific scholarship tracks within the France 2030 sectors. So if you are choosing a program right now, check whether it carries the France 2030 labeling. Please check. Check whether the institution has received public investment in your sector. The money follows the priority fields. So do the scholarships. I know that in a previous video, I talked about how international students are going to be paying more, and their accommodation assistance will be removed. If you're in the priority fields in this France 2030 sectors, you're most likely to get a scholarship that will support you for your studies. Another practical tip for you is that when you are checking for your program on I don't know if it's the Campus France site or the university website, look out for the France 2030 on the page. And even if you don't see it, you can always ask the school directly, do they have the France 2030 label? You ask them, check for it. It will help guide you into the field where you're most likely to get sponsorship and scholarships. Secondly, check whether your sector appears in the 10 I just mentioned. If it does, you're in the France 2030 field. And third, for research positions, look at whether the laboratory or research unit is funded through a PEPR, a programme et équipement prioritaire de recherche. That's what it's like. I'm sure you can understand this priority in research. This is the France 2030 research arm. These positions come with funding, with a real research community, and with a clearer path to the talent chercheur visa, like the talent visa for researchers. So an honest thought is that not your program not being in the France 2030 doesn't mean that it's dead. In France, law, humanities, language, education, social sciences, France has universities and careers in all these. They are real options. What France 30 means is that 2030 means if your field overlaps with the sectors I described, France is actively building a future in it right now. The investment is there, the jobs are there, the visa pathway is clearer. If your field does not overlap, you are still welcome to go ahead with what you plan to do, but you still need to be more deliberate, and you have to know how to position yourself for the talent visa pathway after graduation. So going back to my first question, what should you study in France? Study what you're genuinely interested in or you're good at. That has to come first. But if you're standing between two options, you're standing between two options, and one of them is in the France 2030 priority. If you're standing between two options and one of them is the France 2030 priority field, please go that way. France is telling you what it needs in that sector. You can listen to it. The master plan for the talent visa and the research visa are in my description as usual. The links are below. They go into full detail of how the visa actually works once you are ready to apply. And if you want to talk through your specific field, you want a personalized plan, made out. If you want a personalized plan made out for you, you want to talk through it with someone who's on ground who can do live research, then click the link in the bio where you can make it. We can get on a chat and we can discuss. And I think that's all I have for this video. And if you think my content is useful in any way, please like, please share, subscribe. I have guides and master plans that I really took time to do research in. Please try to make use of them. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye. Number 2 is green energy and the hydrogen. Number 2 is green hydrogen. No,